my name is Pauline Swan. I'd like to show you my idea book of how I actually get to some of my artwork ideas and the process I go through with using it. So we start with, I was looking at natural forms, and I have a mind map of ideas about where I would go with that. And then I found two artists, O'Keeffe and Sunderland, who are both natural artists but slightly different styles. So this artist has strong colours and lines and is much more abstract, and then Sunderland, who has not so much colour but more clear defined lines. And I was just playing around with the ideas of what I liked and disliked about each artist, and I think I sort of came to the conclusion that I like the colours there but the more strong lines there. So I kind of thought, for my style, I like colour and strong lines. So sort of moving over, I took some photographs of some natural forms, the grass. I love the sort of textures and lines that this gives, but also the way the light reflects off the grass and the water. This one sort of shows the water in the background with a nice reflection, but a really clear line of the cliff edge and someone standing there. And this one's slightly more sort of obscure with the way the light just hits the water. I created a small picture down here with colour but with more light, although still slightly abstract, but sort of stronger lines. I then started to play around with here really with the movement of the water, and kind of like the way it looked, but it kind of resembled to me a turtle, so sort of like a stronger form. So moving over to this page, to creating form from the landscape, I kind of looked at the shape of the turtle, took some pictures of the turtles, and really liked the look of that. I loved the blues and the way the shell sort of hinted at that. So I looked at some material to do the shell with if I was to create this turtle, but it seemed flat and it didn't seem to have the depth. So here I just sketched it in more detail to see what I liked about the actual shell pattern, and the way it actually created a shell, lots of little shells within the shell. So then I looked at Linda Fendwick, who is a shell artist, and who actually takes natural shells and makes frames and pots and mosaics, which I really liked. So I looked at doing a picture frame myself, which here is just a light sketch of it, but I have actually got a much better picture. I've actually done the frame and I will download and show you that. Played around here with the colours, getting some abstract colour but with more texture, some turtle sort of colours and shapes. So on the next page, I went sort of back to the turtle that I had originally done some little thumb sketches of different shades and colours and using different shells. Cockle shells and scallop shells, but I still didn't think they had the height or the look of what a turtle really looked like. So I tried limpet shells. I really liked this look, so kind of went into a little detail with colour. A more detailed sketch of how I think it would look maybe with oyster shells for the fins and the flippers. And then moving down here, again another sketch just to sort of clarify where it would be before I actually went on to the final piece. I quite like the final piece, which I have here as well, because the pictures don't really show it as well. But I think I got a bit carried away. When I finished, there was some gaps within the shell, so I put in some more mollusk shells and some beads. And I think by doing that, I maybe over accentuated it and lost the clear line that probably I was looking for. So next time I think I would look for a medium which held the shells more, to maybe not create the gaps. But otherwise I was quite pleased with it. Moving on to the next page, I sort of go in detail about the foraging that I'd done, because I went to the beach and foraged all the shells myself. But in doing so I found other things on the beach like dried sea starfish and crabs and sea glass, and I really liked these other elements as well, and I thought they could be really really used in a really nice way. So actually I dried some starfish and had to paint them because the drying out process had taken the colour from them. So then I sort of looked at the sea glass, and that kind of thought that it would be really nice as jewellery. So on the next page, I sort of show a bit more about the jewellery I've been making. I found some driftwood on the beach, which I really liked, and moulded a seahorse mould to create just the connection with the sea, really. I sprayed it with metallic greens and a little bit of glitter to give it the sort of the look of the sea and the scales that this would have within the water. I tried doing a sphere, but really my sphere mould wasn't good enough and it really didn't work, so that needs more work, much more work. I then tried some shells, so using some rope and some cockles, and I introduced resin, which gave the appearance of water, and I really liked that aspect of it too, and done some twisted metal to attach. Then I sort of done a large scallop shell in pretty much the similar way, really. I used driftwood shells and just resin to create like a water, like a drifting effect of the sea. Here is a few sketches with sea glass, because I took a piece of sea glass. Again, I twisted silver metal round it and attached some little seashells to sort of give the indication of the sea. But I'd really like to learn a lot more about how to twist and shape the silver and into stars like this, which would give much more appeal. And on this final page, I kind of took a little bit from everything that I'd done previously. So this is shell craft, resin and beach combing all together. So some of the windows of this picture frame, I have a real crab set in resin. I then picked another window to do just a resin with some shaped fish from clay in a sort of like a sea life scene. And then just covered the frame really with lots of different types of shells to give it texture and shape, and a few sort of sculpted things like octopuses and turtles, again just to sort of use all the things that I'd been doing. And here for the final bit, I needed to choose some backing for the picture frame itself, and I looked at these colours, but none of them seemed to fit. So I eventually chose this one, which is a much more darker colour and looked really nice against the final item. Again, I have downloaded this for you to get a closer look at. And really that explores this part of my idea book.